Just a quick message. This clip you're about to watch on my Stop Retiring Wrong channel are my words and books and educational events, but they're filtered through AI. But I am real, and my clients and their issues are very real, and my research is not AI. And I want to be very transparent with you as you take advantage of this only psychotherapist curated tool available that intersects fulfillment and finances and reframes the second half of your life into something that truly our parents and our grandparents never could even have imagined. So congratulations.
You have enough money. Why do you still feel empty after retirement? I've lost count of how many times a person has sat in my office, someone who has been retired for 6 or 8 months, healthy, financially set, and said some version of the same thing. I should be happy. I have everything. So why do I feel like nothing? They aren't depressed in the clinical sense. They aren't in crisis. They are just hollow. The mornings feel long. The afternoons feel longer. Their family notices it. They try to explain it and can't, because from the outside, their life looks perfect. And that's exactly what makes it so confusing. I'm Michael Lucas. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I specialize in retirement transitions. I've sat with hundreds of people who did everything right, saved, invested, planned, and still walked into retirement completely blindsided by what it actually felt like. Today, I want to talk about why that happens. Not in a vague self-help way. Clinically, specifically. Because this emptiness has a name, it has a cause, and it has a solution. This isn't a money problem. Most retirement planning conversations start and end with money. How much do you have? How long will it last? What's your withdrawal rate? Do you have healthcare covered? Those are real questions. Important questions. I'm not dismissing them. But here's what nobody in that conversation is asking. Who are you without your job? What gives your day structure now that a calendar doesn't? Where do you get the sense that you matter, that you contributed something when there's no performance review, no client call, no team depending on you? These aren't soft questions. These are survival questions. And the research is very clear on this. Retirement is one of the most psychologically disruptive transitions an adult can experience, right up there with divorce, relocation, and loss of a spouse. Not because it's bad, because it is a complete restructuring of identity, time, purpose, and social connection all at once. Your financial advisor prepared you for the money part. Nobody prepared you for this part. And that gap, that's where the emptiness lives. Work was doing more than you realized. I want to reframe something for you because I think it changes everything. Most people think of work as a thing they did to earn money. And yes, that's true. But work was also quietly delivering 5 things that had nothing to do with your paycheck. 1. Identity. Your title, your role, and your industry. These told you and the world that you were. I'm a CFO. I'm a surgeon. I'm a contractor. That sentence did a lot of psychological heavy lifting for 30 or 40 years. 2. Structure. Work told you when to wake up, where to be, and what to do next. You didn't have to design your day, it was designed for you. That structure was invisible until it disappeared. 3. Purpose. Not just grand purpose, daily purpose. The meeting you had to lead, the problem you had to solve, the person who needed your answer before noon. That daily pull forward is something most retirees deeply underestimate. 4. Social connection. Your colleagues, your clients, your professional network, these were often your primary adult relationships. Most people don't realize that until those relationships quietly disappear after the retirement party. 5. Relevance. Work told you that you mattered, that your expertise had value, that someone somewhere needed what you knew how to do. Retirement doesn't come with a built-in replacement for that feeling. So when people tell me they feel empty in retirement, this is what they've lost. Not income, not a schedule. They've lost the entire infrastructure that told them who they were and why it mattered. and no amount of money replaces that. The 3 traps most retirees fall into. Now I want to name 3 very specific traps because I see them constantly, and if you're in one right now, I want you to recognize it. Trap 1. The arrival fallacy. This is the belief that once you retire, you'll finally be happy. You've been telling yourself, consciously or not, that the good life starts at the finish line. But happiness doesn't work that way. The destination doesn't deliver. People who thrive in retirement aren't the ones who finally stopped working. They're the ones who intentionally designed what came next. Trap 2. Passive living. This is what I call the leisure illusion. You fill the calendar with golf, travel, Netflix, grandkids, and for a few months it feels like freedom. Then it starts to feel flat. There's a psychological concept called hedonic adaptation. It means that whatever you anticipated enjoying the beach house, the travel, the free mornings, eventually stops producing the pleasure it once did. The novelty wears off. The drive that made you successful doesn't retire just because you did. Passive leisure doesn't feed a driven person. It just slows the decline. Trap 3. Identity collapse. This is the most dangerous one. It happens quietly, over months. You stop introducing yourself at parties because you're not sure what to say. You avoid old colleagues because the comparison is uncomfortable. You spend more time alone. What's happening underneath is that the scaffolding of your identity, the title, the role, the professional reputation has been removed, and nothing has been built in its place. This is not a character flaw. It is a psychological gap, and it requires a deliberate response, not just more time. How to fill the real emptiness. So what do you actually do about it? Let me give you 3 things that move the needle, not platitudes, but clinical direction. First, name who you are outside of what you did. Sit down and write, not type. Write 3 answers to this question. Who am I when no one is paying me for it? Not a former title, not a role. You, the person. What do you value? What do you build? What do you protect? What do you teach? This exercise sounds simple. It is not simple. Most high achievers haven't thought about this in decades. That's okay. It's not too late, but it has to start somewhere. Second, design your week before the week designs you. Freedom is not the absence of structure. For most accomplished people, freedom without structure is just anxiety with better scenery. Build a weekly framework, not a rigid schedule. A framework that includes something that grows you, something that connects you, something that contributes beyond yourself, and yes, real rest. If you can't describe your week in those 4 categories, you're drifting. And drifting in retirement is what leads to the hollow feeling this video started with. Third, find where your expertise still has a home. You spent decades building knowledge, judgment, and skill. That doesn't expire. Mentoring, consulting, board service, teaching, starting something, contributing to something. The form doesn't matter, the function does. You need to feel like what you know still matters somewhere. That is not ego. That is a fundamental human need. The man I told you about at the beginning of this video, the one sitting in my office feeling hollow, he eventually started mentoring young professionals in his industry 2 days a week, not for money, for the feeling that his 35 years of hard-won knowledge was still being used. The hollowness left. A straight question. I want to ask you something directly, not as a content creator, as a therapist. If the emptiness you're feeling right now isn't about money, what is it actually about? Is it that you don't know who you are without the title? Is it that your days feel unstructured and you're embarrassed to admit that freedom feels worse than work did? Is it that the people you thought you'd spend retirement with, the colleagues, the community, just aren't there anymore? These are honest questions. They deserve honest answers. And you deserve more than a financial plan. You deserve a full plan. Thank you for reading. Just a reminder as we close, The scenarios and examples we discussed today are generalized composites to ensure the privacy of individuals and are intended strictly for educational use. If you are facing a specific mental health, legal, or financial crisis, please consult with a qualified professional in your local area to get the individualized support you deserve. I'll see you in the next video. The first 6 months after retirement, no one prepares you for.